Hey, what's up guys? It's your girl Kay and I am back with another video for you because I just had a aha moment and I thought maybe I'd share it with you. Now, I'm not the queen of studying. I don't have the best study tips in the world. I'm not the person that gets A's on all their tests. I'm not that exceptional student. I pass and I learn the information that I need to learn and I apply it, and that's what I do. What I learned about studying was something that might be helpful to people who don't have a lot of time to study. I'm not one of those students that doesn't have a job or works minimal hours. I have 3 jobs, and so it's hard. We'll get to that in another moment, but I want to share my studying ideas with you because they might work. So basically, what the teachers want you to do is they want you to read the chapter of what you're going to be learning about before class. So let's say you're learning about asthma in children or respiratory disorders in children. You're going to find the page, like the chapter in the book, and read about respiratory disorders in children. Those chapters can be up to 80 pages long sometimes. You don't have the time to read 80 pages. It's just not going to happen. Number one, because textbooks are boring as hell. And number two, you don't have the time to do that, especially if you're working or you have kids or whatever. So what I figured out, and this is probably not news to most of you by now, the PowerPoints are a reiteration of what you should have been reading in the book. So what I like to do when I'm studying for a test is I like to go through my PowerPoint presentations. Now, my teachers are great because they give outlines before the test of what we need to know. They're very good about basically teaching us what we need to know to pass the course, but as well as learning things, that we need to know for nursing in general. But they're not super specific in every little detail. But when they say you need to know this, they give you an outline. And what I do is I go through the outline and I look at a certain subject. So let's say for my last test, we had a test about postpartum care, about postpartum assessments. So what I did was I would look at the outline and say, okay, postpartum assessments. I'd go into the book and I'd read the section on postpartum assessments. I wouldn't read the whole chapter. I just read that little section because you know how the chapters are split into different sections. So I would read that section about the assessments. And then after that, I would go into the PowerPoint presentation that the teacher presented maybe a week or two before that. And I'd read what she wrote down about the assessments. And because I had just read the section in the book, reading the PowerPoint really helped me kind of like, get a better understanding, and it's kind of like repeating the information in your head because now you're reading the summarization of this section in the book and you're like, yeah, I just read that. Okay, I get it. I understand this. I understand that. Because generally what the teachers put in the PowerPoint are what they want you to know for the test. It's specifically what they're trying to teach you. So the better that you understand what they're trying to teach you or what's in the PowerPoint, the better chances you have of passing your test. And so that always works for me. Once I read that section, and it's very easy for me to just go through the sections instead of going through the whole entire chapter and reading things that I don't necessarily need to know for the test. I go into my ATI manual, and I don't know if everybody uses ATI manuals, but ATI is a company that administers the TEAS test, and they basically give you like a set of books, and in those books are ways of studying. They're basically like summarizations of everything that you need to know for the NCLEX, for the boards. ATI is the company that helps you study for the boards, and so their books are really helpful. So not only will I read the section in the book, I would read the PowerPoint presentation, but I'd go into the ATI manual and I would read the chapter in the ATI manual. And the ATI manual chapters are maybe like 4 or 5 pages at most. They're not really long. They're like a very like broad summarization with specific details, and it's easier for you to understand once you've read the section in your book about what is in the ATI chapter. And I found that really helped me. In my last 2 tests, I've gotten in the high 80s. And so, I really think it's attributed to me finding my new way of studying. Because before, it was really like I just would try to read the PowerPoints and that was it. And I'd miss a lot of questions because I'd be like, that wasn't in the PowerPoint. I don't remember that. I don't remember that. But it's because I didn't read the section in the book. And because I didn't understand a certain concept because it was summarized in the PowerPoint rather than explained. So I think that if you guys do it that way, if you're struggling right now with your testing, it would really help you. And that's just my opinion. You don't have to do it. It might not even work for you. For me, it works, and it should be like common sense when you're studying, but I've always had really bad study habits, and so this is like a big moment for me to figure this out. So I just wanted to share it with you guys. The second thing I want to talk to you guys was about was, sorry, I'm like you guys know I can't talk. But I have decided that I want to become a CNA. And I actually quit one of my jobs. I have about 2 more days left of my job. I've been at that job for 7 years. I love it. It's great. It works with my schedule. It's very flexible. I get good pay because I've been there for so long, but it's really cutting into my school time. I can't work as many hours as I want to because I have to go to class, because I have to go to clinical, and I'd rather just work a job where I can work earlier in the day and then have my time free for the afternoons. So I ended up quitting a job, and I'm going to be going full-time at another job, but working in the early mornings. And all of this is basically heading up to becoming a CNA. Now, I'm not telling you guys you have to be a CNA, but I think it's a really, really good idea, especially if you are not in a specific career path at this point, like you're working for retail or you're working in the fast food industry. You might want to do something that has to do with what you're going to school for, because it makes it easier for you in the long run. Number one, you get the experience of working in the hospital, you get the hospital feel, you are a CNA, so you're doing things that you've learned already. I've actually taken a couple of practice CNA tests online, and I've gotten in the 90s on the test, because the things that CNA learns are things that we've learned our first semester of nursing school. So we already know how to do this. So why not get a job and get paid for something that we already know how to do? It's something that comes like second nature to us by now, especially if you're progressing in your nursing school. You are learning new things all the time, and going to clinical, it's like that. You go into your patient's room, you assess them, you get what they need, you get their pain, you give them meds, you do whatever, and it's second nature to you. And so why not become a CNA? So at this point, I'm done with my second job, well, almost done with my second job. I'm gonna be working just 2 jobs now, and one is not every day, so I'm okay with that. And once I send off my information to take my CNA test and I hopefully pass it and I get my certification, then I'll start looking for CNA jobs, and then I can quit that job and then I can just become a CNA full-time. And I'm hoping that in the long run it will help me, especially if I get to work in one of the good hospitals in Boston, i.e. Beth Israel or Brigham and Women's or MGH. Then when I actually graduate my program and I take the NCLEX and I get, past the boards, hopefully, if I pass the boards, that the hospital that I've already been working at as a CNA will recognize me and say, hey, you've been here for a while. Yeah, we'll hire you. Because like I told you in the last video, 2-year nursing degrees are not highly sought after. Like, those positions are not... they're not readily available. Most of the time to get hired as a nurse in a hospital, you need to have a bachelor's degree. And so, coming fresh out of a 2-year school, you don't really have high chances of getting a really good paying job at a really good hospital with just a 2-year degree. But I'm hoping that if I make connections while I'm a CNA at a hospital, that they might say, okay, you've been here, you know the ropes, you're talented, you have skills, let's hire you even though you have an associate's degree. So that is my whole idea of a plan. I just want to share that with you guys. I just wanted to get that off my chest, see if maybe you guys had any ideas, or if you guys are doing anything similar, if you guys are medical assistants, CNAs already, if you're thinking about doing that. I think it's a great idea if you're not doing that already. You can never go wrong gaining experience. That's all I have to say about that. So I'm gonna head back and finish my paper, or finish working on it. It's getting around that time I need to lay down and go to bed. I have work tomorrow, but I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Comment as usual, and I will try to respond, and hopefully I don't mess up my music like I did last time. Thank you to the person who pointed that out. I will make sure I pay attention this time. And have a great night, have a great day. If it's spring break for you guys too, have a great spring break. Party, or study, whatever. Catch you guys later.